Well, hello and welcome to Inner Balance TV. I'm your host, Dwaine Hartman. Tonight, I have a show with Magdy Youssef. Now, you may not have heard of Magdy yet, but Magdy is an up-and-coming, rising interest that you want to pay attention to. He has a book out that's called Divine We Are, and he takes it from a different approach. Being that he had a very much of a scientific background and engineering background, he's looking at enlightenment in a new way, but a very grounded way. You got to check him out and get his book. He's a very fascinating man, and in this show, he will take us through a couple of journeys as well that take us to different places. He's well-versed in dimensions and well-versed in enlightenment. And again, it's all come from a scientific and a very grounded place. So let's get on with the interview. Well, hello, Magdy. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming on to Inner Balance TV.
Thanks, Dwaine. It's a pleasure to be here. I am truly looking forward to meeting with you for too many reasons, and some of these reasons are, I believe that we have reconnected somewhere in time, as you may, and the connection is very powerful, and I am so pleased to be a guest on your show.
Well, thank you, and I feel the same way. I mean, the first time that I spoke with you on Skype, I knew that there was a connection. And that connection is Egypt. You have written a book.
Yes, I did.
Yes, and also you have a slightly interesting way at looking at life itself because of your background and your education, and you're seeing something more. And this is what I really want to talk about. You're seeing something more than just the average person does when it comes to energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is very true. By education and training, I'm a graduate engineer. Uh-huh. I hold 2 master's degrees, high distinctions, and I'm saying that for a reason I'm going to explain later, in structural dynamics and geotechnical engineering. And I've been practicing for over 25 years.
Right.
And I participated on some of the world-renowned, most famous projects, including the Freedom Tower, also in New York City.
Right.
And I excelled in my studies. I attracted the attention of my professors here in America. Mm-hmm. And while practicing engineering, that gave me more insight to my spirituality. So it's not any more just a belief, but it's a belief that could be supported by science.
Right.
And that actually give it a very, very specific and very distinct, if you may, flavor. It makes it different from what's really out there as far as mainstream spiritualism. Mm-hmm. So I start linking with science and mysticism. Mm-hmm. Science and spirituality.
Right.
I came from Egypt.
Yeah.
I came to the States from Egypt, and I've been here in the States for over 30 years.
Right.
But of course, growing up in Egypt, you grow in a land that is saturated with energy, history, religions across the ages, multiple gods in ancient Egypt, and a civilization like no other that connected to the cosmos.
Yes.
Pure understanding of the cosmos. Pure understanding of how we are connected to the universe. Pure understanding to the afterlife. So that's all was embedded in me. It was built in.
Yes. And I heard you talk about something just prior to mentioning this. Yes. And that is that you took things that are supposed to be opposite in our Western thinking, or whatever you call it, because they like to separate this out. And you've actually you're actually taking that and bringing it in, science, art, religion, mysticism, and bringing it into one.
Yes, because if you really go back in time, and I believe that every nation and everyone on the planet have what Magdy call, acquired experience, which we get through a lifespan.
Yes.
Inherent experience, which is something that's built in.
Yeah.
So I came from this land, and the land of Egypt. There was no separation in Egypt, ancient Egypt, between religion, art, science. Everything was like blended,
Yes,
fantastically in one.
Yeah.
There was balance. So, like you live through your life because you wanted to cross to the afterlife because you are going to be with the gods.
Mm-hmm.
You pursue like entire life thinking about how you are going to meet the gods.
Mm-hmm.
To science, and science is what? It's linked to the cosmos. I am building the pyramids, so I am going to have to look to the stars so I can match the location of these pyramids, which we are going to talk about a little later, with the stars in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep on going like on and on and on and on and on. Like everything was so interconnected as far as the science, as far as the mysticism, as far as the beliefs, as far as the writings, as far as the sculptures, as far as the art. Everything was infused, if you may, into one part. So I came from this land. I came from this land, and inside of me, or molded in me, in my mind, my consciousness, what was practiced at that time. Mm-hmm. However, of course, I needed to go through, studying things that I like. Mm-hmm. Engineering and medicine was the most two that appeals to me.
Right.
So I went through engineering. My father was an engineer as well. Three of my brothers are engineers also. Mm-hmm. And I started studying. I excelled it. I like it. I started seeing miraculous connection. Mm-hmm. See, I am a structural engineer. My main concern is what? Balance.
Right.
Equilibrium.
Yes.
I design a building, so I take into account a few things that are mighty important. First thing is, what is the material that I'm going to use? Mm-hmm. Is what is the forces applied on this material? And then I come up with a design that actually is safe, adequate to resist, and using specific materials that will be suitable for the application.
Two things. One is that now you've taken that and used the same model, but for spirituality.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What are we going to need? Mm-hmm. What's going to be the safest way? You know what I mean? What's the balance all the way up through?
Yes.
I remember a time when I was taking biology, and I seen this, this microscopic little thing that looked like a spider, and it would go over and it would tap onto a bacteria and reprogram it. And I said to the teacher at the time, I says, that little thing has consciousness. Mm-hmm. It's aware. Otherwise it wouldn't know that bacteria is coming by. And they told me, what are you, a devil worshiper or something? I could see that. You know what I'm saying? I seen creativity in everything, right? I seen life, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We might even just coming back to that. What I do realize also as an engineer, that is a structure that's been observed, or a theory or a pattern that's been observed in everything around us.
Right.
Everything from the minutest to the largest, to the utmost largest. And I'm going to explain that in a second.
Okay.
If you look at the atom, for example,
mm-hmm.
and the atom is the smallest building block as far as we know material, the physical world.
Right.
The atom itself composed of a central mass called the nucleus, orbited by electrons, which is much lighter masses.
Yeah.
But it didn't stop there. The atom, the nucleus of an atom, is about 90% of the weight of the atom. 90% of the weight of the atom, and it is positively charged.
Uh-huh.
While the electrons are the 10%, and they are negatively charged. And each and every electron have a specific orbit,
Yeah.
and even orbiting around it, around the nucleus.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get yourself out of the atom and look a little bit higher,
Yeah.
you will see the sun. You will see our solar system.
Yeah.
And if you look at the basic structure or the fundamental structure of a solar system, it is nothing but a gigantic, super gigantic atom.
Mm-hmm.
The sun plays the role of the nucleus, while the planets plays the role of the electrons. It didn't stop there. The sun is positively charged, as the nucleus is positively charged. The planets are negatively charged,
Mm-hmm.
as the electrons are negatively charged. But up to that, and up to very recent, that was how far we went.
Right.
But very recently, they found out that there is something called black holes. Relatively recent.
Yeah.
And the more they know about black holes, the more they find out that this is a location that most likely is situated in the center of a galaxy. It's getting bigger here.
Mm-hmm.
So it does not only limit itself, the theory or the system or the fundamental structure, to an atom. No, it moved a little higher to a solar system and didn't stop there. Now we have something called black hole, which is a very dense location where the matter is so compressed, even light cannot escape it. We cannot see it because it's so dark, but we can detect it.
Mm-hmm.
How we detect it? By seeing congregations of stars or dying stars in the immediate location.
Mm-hmm.
And they find out that these black holes occupy locations that's almost at the center of a galaxy. And it's orbited by what? It's orbited by solar systems and stars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you look, there is a graduation of the same very thing.
And so now taking it from black holes out here
Uh-huh.
to inside the reality of atoms, where do we see it there?
Oh, you are going to see infinity.
Mm-hmm.
That's, because it's a signature. Like if you have like a painting for Van Gogh,
Mm-hmm.
Rembrandt, Monet, you look at the drawing, I mean, if you, at the painting, and if you really like art, it's immediately Picasso. It's Picasso. What I'm trying to say here is, each and every maker, creator, artist have a signature.
Mm-hmm.
And the signature lead you immediately to the artist.
Right.
The signature that we're talking about here is what I call universal signature.
Mm-hmm.
It's not limited to a planet, it's not limited to an atom, it's not limited to a galaxy, it's not limited to multiple galaxies. It is all over, everywhere and all over.
And within you.
And within you, definitely.
Yes. Yes.
Definitely. So when I said, like, where do we find this black hole into an atom? It's the infinity of the black hole. Black hole is what they call, like, a portal or a vortex location.
Right.
And what I mean by that is, it's a crossroad.
Yes.
It's a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a bridge where time and space does not apply.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is at the speed of thought, not light, thought, which is going to come to us. It's a matter of time for us to realize that our biggest asset for our species as mankind is our minds.
Yes.
So going back to say, like, where does this black hole fit in an atom, Magdy? And I said it's infinity. And I'll tell you exactly what I meant by that.
Okay.
We know that the electrons orbit the atoms as single electrons. There is not two electrons that occupy the same orbit. No. But like planets. Earth have its own, Saturn have its own, Gemini, like each and every planet have its own orbit. Because this is like the safest way possible. In addition, it adds to the equilibrium of the whole system. But if I go to the nucleus, and this is going to get a little crazy. The nucleus is 90% of the weight of the atom. And it is positively charged. If I look closer into the nucleus of an atom, I'm going to find out it's formed of other bodies, smaller units that are called protons. Protons. And they are positively charged, all of them. But just to keep them at bay, because if you keep similar or the same charge together, they repel. The repulsive force is immense. So the designer said, if I keep them together, then I don't have an atom. Everything is going to be flying in the space.
Yeah.
I have to bring these components together. So I have to cement them together and calm them down a little bit. Because otherwise, if I leave the similar charges, they're going to repel. Repulsive force. So what happened? Something called neutrons. They have no mass, but they are just charges.
Yeah.
And the whole function of the neutrons is to calm the protons down. Don't rip. But then that was not enough. Now they are calmed down, but again, for any sudden charges, sudden energies, you disintegrate.
Right.
So the designer again, oh no, this is not going to happen. I wanted this to stay together as an element, as a stable element, so I can form what I call molecules, so I can form what I call elements, so I can create the world. So, okay, I'm going to put something in there to cement them together. So try to imagine like little balls around each other. Some of them are positive, some of them are negative, and they are still like in a state where they can scatter all over the place.
Right.
So came what we know as the nuclear binding force, or residual energy force. That's actually what keeps everything together. It's a force that you cannot replicate, Dwaine. It's unproducible, let's put it this way. And if you manage to break this cement, the amount of energy it releases from a small atom is beyond our grasp.
Right.
Nuclear reactors, nuclear energy, nuclear bombs, that's where it came from.
Right.
That's where it came from. But I'm sorry, I have to just wrap the idea very quickly. When they take the individual proton now and look deeper into it, they find something very interesting. They find that the protons themselves are formed of smaller bodies that's called quarks. Now remember, 90% of weight is in the atom, is in the nucleus of the atom. But when they dug deep into the proton, they find that they are formed with the smaller bodies called quarks. And these quarks are not mass. They are purely energy. So that leads you to what? That even matter at the end of the spectrum is nothing but energy.
Energy.
So energy gives shape to matter. Energy keeps matter together. Energy gives shape to us because we are matter. Energy keeps us together. Energy gives shape to the universe. Energy keeps the universe together. But bottom line is, we are as energy, as light, radar, radio, you name it.
Yes. So when we take our awareness and we don't stop at this limited concept of life, and we take it deeper into that energy and connect with that energy, we're boundless.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Dwaine. The only issue we are facing right now is, for the longest time ever, I would say, like ancient times, for whatever reason, they were more in tune with the universe.
Mm-hmm.
They were more in tune with the cosmos. They were more in tune with the stars' movement and location. They were more in tune with the afterlife. They were more in tune with the spirit world, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then I guess, like, as we progress in life, technology become dominant. And when technology become dominant, our interest in ourselves and our abilities start to decline.
Mm-hmm.
A little by little decline. Mm-hmm. Until we become completely dependent on technology.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember, like, in my days going to school, I don't have a calculator because there was no calculators.
Mm-hmm.
I used to use my mind to calculate.
Mm-hmm.
And computers were not when I was a little kid, like.
Yeah.
So came the calculators, came the computers, then a function is dropped. And before you know it, another function is dropped. So we become so totally dependent to saturation on technology.
Mm-hmm.
And as a process, we ignored what's so important, which is the magnificent abilities in each and every one of us.
Mm-hmm.
To communicate, interact, travel, self-heal with every aspect in the universe. And this is not an exaggeration, because I believe part of my mission and your mission, if we can call it that, is to bring this issue and bring this abilities that God gave us to the forefront, not the end of the line.
Yeah.
Because our true evolution as mankind do not lie in advanced technology. Our true evolution is within. You went like this.
Yeah.
Exactly what I wanted to say. Our true evolution is when our abilities, our humanity, exceeds our technology. Mm-hmm. Right now we are living in time where our technologies exceeds our humanity, and we allow that to happen.
Yes.
But the time is coming, and I believe this is the time, because a lot of people are starting to look within.
Yes.
They got tired of this. They got tired of dependency. Mm-hmm. They got tired of ignoring what they have. It manifests itself like randomly, and then they get amazed. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, what is this? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Yes, you don't believe it because you don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
You don't want to believe it. It's not that it's unbelievable. We are mankind, the interface.
Yeah.
We are the interface. And what I mean by the interface is we are the adapter. We are matter, which is body, and energy, soul. We are matter and electromagnetism, which is different from the soul because it's coming from the atoms in our cells. So we are, bottom line is matter and energy. And even matter is a form of energy as we go deeper into the molecular structure and the atomic substructure.
When we look out into space, we see, like we talked about, you're just talking about, we see the same thing, a mirror image of what's within. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so as far as we go, we see that.
Yes.
As far as we go inside, we see that.
Yes.
But yet, this existence that we have is a band of energy between the two. You're talking about being the conduit, or being the... We're bringing these two worlds together and having an experience here.
Absolutely.
And this experience, this is what you're talking about in your book. You're talking about what we're doing, what we're energetically, scientifically, how this is happening.
Yes, this is very true. The book actually describe or it have 11 chapters in it, and of course, this is a roadmap, and it was done by intention, by design. I wanted people to have an idea.
Yeah.
How it all began, how it all began.
Yes.
Because what's available out there is the Big Bang.
Yeah.
There was a Big Bang, and then there was a universe.
Yeah. Hello.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll say, did you have your coffee yet? Or, it is just not enough for intelligent species as us.
Right.
We need to know a little more.
Yeah.
And also, nobody bothered to put their mind into, yes, there was a Big Bang, but how it happened, and who gives the first order for this energy surge to happen, and when it banged, when it exploded, then what?
Yeah.
It exploded, and then before you know it, there is planets, and there is galaxies, and there is suns, and there is moons, and there is... It's impossible. It is impossible. So this is what I have, at the very beginning of the book. I said, the creation, the melody of creation. I call it melody of creation.
Yes.
And then I call it concert of precision.
Mm-hmm.
It's so precise. It's incredible.
Right.
Indeed, the whole thing started from the unity, or from the unit.
Mm-hmm.
And the unit, I'm not going to say God, but it's again point to God, because the signature that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Hydrogen atom, singularity, single proton, single electron.
Mm-hmm.
Abundance of that.
Yeah.
And then other protons start to go into the hydrogen atom, and other electrons start adding to it, creating different atoms for other elements.
Mm-hmm.
Different atoms for gases. It's all by just balancing.
Balancing. Oh.
A soup, or a sea of atoms floating in it, and this atom starts to evolve from singular to multiple elements, gases. By being in each other's presence, each and every one have its own electromagnetic field.
This is happening with people too. If you look at it, the resonance, and people come together. You know what I mean? And there's balance and harm. Okay, so I'm just sharing that it's happening on multiple levels, right?
You see, this is what's happening right now is amazing, because this is always a fact. I'm not going to drift a lot, but whenever people put their mind together, especially they are thinking about the subject that they like, or they're putting their minds in one direction, it is a miraculous thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right now you have an insight that incredible, because what you are saying is this is even happening to people. So even society, the concept of what's happening with atoms is happening with society. Mm-hmm. So that will always lead you to what? There is a system, and there is a mathematician that can figure the entire system. And this mathematician is supreme intelligence, supreme being, the universal wisdom, the great white light, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a matter of accident.
Yeah.
It's not and cannot be. So, going back to the last point we were talking about, justice. Can you refresh your memory before?
You were talking about hydrogen, and how there's this dance that's happening with.
Absolutely. So, energy starts to build up. It started to build up because of the presence of all these atoms and gases or whatever. So gases responded to the buildup of energy by becoming hot. Especially hot gases. But this is not enough. Some power, some massive energy gives the order, the command. Rotate, start rotate, go in motion. So there was this kind of like motion. It was almost like a hurricane. A supermassive, hypermassive, whatever you want to call it, hurricane. But hurricanes always touch down because there is earth beneath them or below them. But this very particular hurricane, the hurricane of creation, there was no touchdown because there was no down to touch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only infinity.
Yeah.
So the order came and this thing started rotating. Momentum started to build up. And immense surge of energy took residence. And then there was resonating, like a sound, like a humming, a massive humming. And this actually goes back to why people do it. And in Islam, in Christianity, and in Judaism, there is a sound. In Judaism, it's called shofar, or like when the angels blow in the trumpet or something. But it is a sound that's divine, and sound is very important. For the Muslims, what they say, like, nufikha fi sur, just to say there was like a blow of sound. What I'm trying to say is, across religion, there was an introduction of sound into the process, into the mix. And why is that? Vibration.
Yeah.
Vibration was born. And the rotation and the momentum increased, energy built up, energy surge, and the humming increased to the point that each and every atom, to the smallest of its minutest orbits, is feeling the build of energy. And suddenly, energy has to give because it cannot be contained anymore. So yes, indeed, every atom in the universe and every molecule, it glows with this beautiful blue light. Blue.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The thing of it is that growing old and dying is a concept that we believe in. Our natural state, if you look at the atoms, our natural state is eternal.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, because Einstein said, and Einstein, he was blessed because he saw it in the right direction, and he was not afraid that people are going to say that he's crazy or not, so whatever. He was enjoying the process. And he arrived to like energy that not dissipate, cannot dissipate.
No.
As far as us, we never really die. Nothing vanishes, Dwaine. It only change form.
Right.
It only change form. From matter to energy, to a higher energy, to a higher energy, until at the very end you link with the purest one, which is God. Very briefly.
And that concept on an energetic level, yes, I do, but I really think that if we could change the concept in our mind about deterioration here, that we would be in immortality even in the physical form.
I don't know if we can, like...
I don't want to throw you off. It's just an idea. Right.
Yes, but in the physical form, because like each and every element, like scientifically, that's where the science come in. Like it have like an atomic period, and it could change, it become decayed, and even that happened in a larger scale in the universe, as you can see. Like there's something called supernova, which is a dying star. So ultimately, the physical have to change. It have to change from physical into energy, and then go into the grid. It's like a closed circuit, but of very giant proportions.
But there's I agree with you on the ongoingness of the consciousness that's within. That it isn't. It just changes form.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When we pass away, we leave behind our body, but we are two components. One component is the body, the other one is the soul, and the living force or the living energy within the cells. So when we pass away, our body stays in the physical plateau, while our soul go in a higher plateau, but our consciousness, our intelligence, our memories, everything that's identical or typical to any of us, it go with us to the spirit world. The spirit world, there is absolutely no need for words to communicate. The whole thing is communicated through thought. And since we become our true self, become energy, then the closest we can measure to is light. Light can cover 186,000 miles per second. The speed of light travel. And if you want to translate it to kilometers, 300,000 kilometers per second. So when we cross to the non-physical world, we do not need vehicles anymore. No. But we think and we are there.
And that's faster than light.
Absolutely. That's the speed of thought.
Yeah.
And time and space doesn't exist. So what you do, like if you think past, if you want to call it past, but I think it's all like floating around, like Greeks, Romans, ancient Egyptians, whatever, you're there right away. And go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And we're meeting people now, and we're experiencing experiences now that are on that level. We're traveling at the speed of thought to places.
Yes.
There's something breaking down as far as the barriers to that right now. And we're truly experiencing travel at that speed. And actually can be present in the room, but yet not completely physical yet, but there's in thought there, and it be felt by the person in the room that you're there.
Yes, I talked about that in my book, and I said if you give your mind a roadmap, chances are your mind will reach the destination. And what I meant by the roadmap, which is the parameters that change, or what change in any of the techniques I gave. The mind is the tool. That's it. There is nothing else. The mind is the tool. And this magnificent tool is supported by the energy in our soul and in our cells, the life force. What I meant by if you give your mind the roadmap, chances you reach your destination is, and this is any of the listeners, any of your viewers can even try this. Like a group of friends, family members, if there is somebody overseas on a business trip or whatever, and the people are close to each other because that makes it much, much easier. All they have to do is just come to a state of relaxation and take a deep breath and just relax. Put their mind at ease by just imagining that they are somewhere where they like to be. It could be the beach. It could be the top of a beautiful mountain that they climbed before. And it could be also your own home. Whatever makes you comfortable. Just take yourself there. And if you know where your loved one is, all you have to do is just have a mental map of where the person is. And then close your eyes, think of the person, and envision yourself getting out of your body and just going towards a person. For example, if I'm here in New York, New Jersey, and I wanted to see a good friend of mine in Italy, so I'll just envision that I'm leaving my body and I am getting out of my front door and I'm walking. And that's how I envision myself right now, that I'm capable of flying. And then I'll fly. I'll go to the water. What I mean by that is the Atlantic Ocean. I'll fly over the Atlantic Ocean. I can see the water passing me as I'm flying over. It's a beautiful scenery. It's fantastic. I will rise up. It's an endless body of water. And then I will see land coming. This is Gibraltar. And I'll cross over it. I'll see continents below me. I'll see Africa. I'll see Europe. To my right is Africa. To my left is Europe. I'll fly over the Mediterranean, and then I'll see the Italian Blue, and I'll hum down on it with my salt. Now I am over the Italian land. I will go to Rome. I will go to the area where my friend is. I will walk the streets with my mind. I am in front of the building. I feel the excitement. I climb the stairs. I go through the door. I see my friend. I say hello. Now I am there. In thought. And I'm enjoying it. And I can do it any time I want to do it. Visit any place I want to visit. And see the whole world. I can do it across the universe and visit every planet. I can do it across time. And that's what I meant by giving a roadmap.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I think everybody else is thanking you right now, too.
I'm glad. Thank you.
Because it's nice to go on a journey like that, but it's more than a journey. We're moving into this ability to be able to be any place at any time.
Yes.
And like you're saying, to give it a roadmap as to where to go, right?
This is like, I wanted to just to clear the concept. Right now, this was an example of how can you direct your mind to a destination. And this is nothing new, because everybody knows that during the Cold War, the U.S. and the Soviet Union, former Soviet Union, we were spending like hundreds of millions of dollars on remote sensing.
Mm-hmm.
There was hyper secure facilities where each and every country had their latest armament or what have you, and penetrating such facilities with conventional means was almost impossible. So both the Russians and the Americans, and I'm sure other countries around the globe, have got people with ESP, extrasensory perceptions, and they train them to hum with the mind on facilities that are thousands of miles away from them, and to retrieve secrets. And this is known programs that existed at some time.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody would go to the internet, there is, I believe, something called Siberian something. I cannot recall the name, Siberian Project or Siberian something of that sort, that was entirely about mind control entirely about remote sensing. And until today, every time they tell you that the program is put to rest, is the time when you start to really wonder
Yeah.
how far they went with it and where it is today. But this is an ability that's been recognized and it's there in place.
Yes.
You can also use it to cure illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
But for doing so, I hope we're going to have enough time to have another demonstration at the end of the program. I would love to do that. But you can use it for healing, body and soul, self and others. You can also use it to connect with the supreme intelligence out there. And it is very enjoyable. Information is out there in abundance. All you have to do is just link to it.
Yes. When I got to share something with you. When I was younger, they had said to me that I was so learning disabled that I would never learn. And I tapped into universal mind at that time because I didn't believe that this was my outcome, you know. I could do something about it, so I tapped into universal mind at the time. And I think this is what you're talking about. And all of a sudden, it was like my brain woke up. I mean, it was... in fact, my brain wasn't my brain. My brain was this other intelligence. And it healed my own mind. You know, I was able to think. Right?
More than healing, it was just like, you know, like organizing your mind. It was establishing better connections between different parts of your mind because processing information is almost specialized. But the funny thing is, Dwaine, until today, with all this technology and all the advancement we have, our mind is a Martian desert. We only know about 8 to 10%.
Yeah.
And the rest is totally unknown. So what that tells you one thing is, indeed, the abilities or the experience we have sometimes that manifest themselves are stemming from areas that we do not know how to use.
Yeah.
So we always talk about the mind eye. Yes, indeed, there is a mind eye. Absolutely. And anybody can do that. You close your eyes and you can see anything you want to see, including what we call memories. You are creating a visual for nothing more than store the information in your mind. You can create it a zillion times, and it does not dissipate, it does not go away. So we actually see with our minds. So why the concept of the third eye is alien?
Yes.
It's not. Absolutely not. I actually, very recently, at will, I was able to see with my eyes closed at conscious state. And but I was not seeing the surrounding. I was not seeing the surrounding because it actually, even intrigued me to the point that I was enjoying it immensely. So I started taking it places, across galaxies, yes. And the excitement died out, and now, oh my God, this is real. Then I start seeing how I can tame it, how I can do it at will, anytime. And it is a switch in your mind that you actually do, turn the switch on, so your pineal gland and hypothalamus join together, coordinate together, and before you know it, it is a physical, non-physical taking place.
And that's through simply desiring that to happen. Is what activates it.
Yes.
I desire the two to come together.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Because it's your body.
It is.
You can will it to do.
Uh-huh.
You can will it just like in the original. There, let's make the command for spinning to take place. It's yours. You can will it to do these things.
Yes, the mind is the command and control center of our body.
Mm-hmm.
The mind, God had already the super architect, IT architect, like IT architect,
Yeah.
hardwired us. Listen to this. Our hearts are going to run no matter what. We want them to run or don't run, they are going to run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is that? Because this is vital. If it was left up to us, we are going to screw ourselves up big time.
All the time, yes.
All the time, exactly.
Look what we do with our reality most of the time. I'm not saying you or me. I'm saying that most. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then you look at what we call nerve system. Nerve system. We have our nerves going through our spinal cord and spreading out and going to each and every muscles and tissue in our body. There is nerves.
Yeah.
For what? For sensation.
Mm-hmm.
We have no control our nerve system, because if we do, we're going to screw ourselves up again.
Yeah.
The way we see and the optical nerve, our brain's library to compare images to arrive to whatever we wanted to make sense of, if we have any, what they call it, information about what we see, this is also uncontrolled. Mm-hmm. Our liver, our kidneys, our digestive tract, circulatory tract, you name it, we have absolutely no interference in how they operate. And this was intended for a reason, that I want to, like the message is coming is, I put in you much more than what you think. So, beside all this magnificent managing hardware inside each and every one of us that caters to our physical plateau, there is also magnificent hardware that each and every one of us that caters to the non-physical world around us.
Now, when we take, because it's the conscious mind that doesn't have control of this, mm-hmm. because the conscious mind can't have control of it because it would muck it up. Mm-hmm. But when we meditate and we become that greater mind,
yes,
right, and we start to practice with that greater mind, we start to do things like we can heal ourselves, or we can. The conscious mind doesn't know how to do that. It can't.
It's very distracted.
Very. But when we let go of that control, that part of the mind, like one of my old teachers had said, he said, consciousness, this conscious mind is a gift from this greater part.
Uh-huh.
You know, that this greater part is actually giving you a gift of consciousness. And a lot of people think that that's what's in control of their life. That's the control, but it's really isn't. It's a gift.
It is a gift, yeah.
From this greater space that we're all connected to, that we're all above, below, that we're in this, right?
Everywhere and all over. That's
yes.
the description. Everywhere and all over. But just to bring the concept closer, like, to for the viewers, where you are sitting right now, and where I'm sitting right now, and where each and everyone that's watching us and not watching us, everybody, in a space around us, there is trillion, billions, quintillions, whatever you want to call them as far as the number of zeros next to it, bits and pieces of information.
Mm-hmm.
But this information is very well defined. The integrity is very well preserved. They never really, mess each other up or destroy their own integrity or become something that they are not. At all times, the information is very well preserved. At all time, the integrity is there. At all time, this piece of information is what it is from the way it was generated to the point that you are receiving it. But they are in thin air, all over. But it is only when you have the right device that you can make sense of this information. And what is the right device maybe? It could be a radio. You tune at the station, and you're listening to a song, a piece of music. This piece of music and the song before you have the radio, it was floating in thin air, and it was very well preserved, waiting for Dwaine or Magdy or 100 million people to tap to it. And the funny thing is, it does not dissipate. No. It is endless. Go ahead.
I've heard that the brain is the same way. I mean, I practice this. The brain is the same way. It's a receiver of this information. And as you adjust your vibration, you adjust the frequency of what you're bringing in.
Yes.
So the more love that you bring in, the more that you're in that harmonic resonance, the higher the frequency you pick up, the higher the intelligence, the higher the...
Yes.
It's all there.
Yes.
Like you're saying, it's all there, waiting.
Absolutely.
But it's to activate.
Exactly. And the activation, again, is just allow this dialogue to happen. Allow the dialogue to happen. If you are sitting, like, you are doing nothing, or there is nothing really that pushing you to move, or there is no pressure, that's what I meant to say, and you are in a relaxed state, and you just getting lazy and just sitting there, and something comes to your mind, like an image or an idea. And before you know it, like you are engaged, like in a thought. Even a friend or somebody that know you well say, "Are you here? Are you? What's happening? You are somewhere else." In reality, yes, you are somewhere else. And this does not have to be a physical place. Absolutely not. Because the word of thought is entirely a word of energy. So what happened is, be aware of this process. Be aware of this process.
Yeah.
Don't snap out of it. Don't. We always we are wondering with our what happened.
Yeah.
No, I saw you go like this. You felt some energy. I think so.
The thing with this is that so much we have been trained that our imagination is a no thing, but it's really the most important part of what and who we are. Like you were mentioning about people snapping out of it.
Yes.
Yeah, don't snap out anymore.
That's it.
Stay in and experience it.
Exactly. Enjoy it.
Because this is just the start of what they were talking about in ancient Egypt, about bringing all of this together again. You have to activate the imagination as part of it. Right? That's the creative force of bringing science, religion, all of it together to one thing. It's a portal.
Yes, each and every one of us is a portal if we know how to tune.
Yeah.
This is the same. And this is going to bring us to a concept that is measurable, and it is known to scientists, that each and every one of us have their very own electromagnetic field energy that's typical to the person alone.
Yeah.
It's like DNA. It's like the eye blood vessels in an eye. It's like a fingerprint. But each and every one has this electromagnetic imprint, if you may, that's typical to the person alone. It identifies a person on the energy grid. And each and every element in the universe, from the minutest to the largest, occupy its own position on the universal energy grid. So an atom has its own electromagnetic field that links with a molecule, and the molecule with a particle, and the particle with Magdy, and Magdy with Dwaine, and Dwaine with even with things that we think have no life. Stone, water, wind, fire, everything around us have this connection, an inner connection. So in essence, there is a network in place, energy network, from the atom to the solar system, to the galaxy, beyond galaxy, and it's a network, internet. It's an internet.
Yes.
And this is where the future is going to take us, to where we never imagined possible.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to ride these energy channels with our thought, to go to the past, future, presence, intergalactical. We are going to be able to broadcast our consciousness. Broadcast. This is the expression. We are going to be able to broadcast our consciousness. Now, manifest itself. You have a dream, and you are in the past, in ancient Egypt. You are in Rome, Romans. You are in Greece. You are in Mesopotamia. You are with the Anunnakis. You are all over the place. You are in the bottom of the sea. You are going to be able to direct it at conscious to where you want it to be. And the network is there. The network is there. It's not something that's going to be invented. It is there. It is a balance of energy that, according to physics principles, it must exist for equilibrium for our planets, our solar system, and everything around us to stay in place as it is. It's intricate, and it is there.
And so above, so below. They were able to take pictures using a special lens, and they took pictures of the universe, and they could see this energy that joins all universes and all planets. They could see this energy, and then they compared it to the brain and what the brain does when it's firing, and it's the same. They've seen the same energy, the same pattern.
It's funny you say that, because one of my very profound experiences have to do with the pattern, as you mentioned, the brain fire. And this has happened when I was almost 10, 12, around that time. I have immense interest in science, immense, and especially the human body. And they even called me Dr. Magdy when I was a little kid. In shorts, they called me Dr. Magdy. Okay, no problem. And what happened is, I love to study at night, late at night, to stay around. There is no distractions, so quiet. I enjoy the environment. I blend into it. And again, remember what we're talking about. If you wander with your mind, enjoy it. Let it happen. I am sitting there looking at my science book and drawing pictures or what have you. And all of a sudden, I draw a picture of a brain, a human brain. And before you know it, I was inside a brain. And I was received by this being that was sexless. There is no sex organs, but there is no clothes either. A body. And there is no hair. And I could see the veins throughout the body. And he received me, bigger head. And he said, I am your higher conscious. And I'm silent. I'm taken by what I'm seeing. He said, I'm going to give you a tour. I said, tour of what? I'm going to give you a tour of your brain. And we were extremely, of course, so minute, almost like a blood cell. And we start going into these tunnels. There is a media there, but it's not water.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are floating.
Mm-hmm.
We are floating. But what was most astonishing is what you see happening inside these tunnels.
Okay.
Flashes of light, like pure white light, bouncing on the walls of these tunnels as they advance forward.
Mm-hmm.
Billions of them. Like, like all over the place. So I raise the question. And it's entirely done in thought. We do not talk, we just communicate.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what is that? He said, these are thoughts being transmitted from one location into the other to be processed. Now they are white light. As we moved into another area, they start taking different color, like purple, blue. This is different thoughts as they are being processed. And again, we move and we see the tunnels and we are floating. To make the long story short, I was told how the thought is processed as far as transport within someone's brain.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like the media, I asked, like how we are floating. I mean, we are walking, we are not floating. And the answer came that in the mind there is bioelectrical charges that actually capable of supporting the flow of ideas. And it is always the case. If somebody goes in a coma, they always go to the bioelectrical activities. Is the person dead or not? So sometimes, he's in a coma and he's still active, and sometimes, the mind dies and that's it. So later on in life, as I came to the U.S., many years after that, I had the pleasure of meeting a neurologist. And then I said to him, I would like to discuss something with you that is very private. I had this experience when I was little. And he said, this is amazing because that's exactly how we believe that ideas are being processed and transmitted inside the brain.
Yeah.
So this is just to give you an example that universal data bank is there.
Yeah.
And it's all up to us.
That's right.
And I suggest that everybody use it because what you are going to get out of it is beyond belief, simply beyond belief.
That's right. So, I'd like to mention your book is Divine We Are.
Yes.
And for people to pick it up because you're going to be blown away. You're going to connect to something inside of yourself by reading this book. Because it's done in a way so that we see these teachings and these understandings right where we are. And before we go, you had mentioned that you would like to do one more journey. Right?
Yes, I will. With pleasure. And I want you to join and, completely enjoy it. And I'm not going to tell you where we're going, but in a minute you're going to know. And I want you to bring you to a state of relaxation. I want you to feel, of course, at home. I want you to feel safe. I want you to feel secure. I want you to get inside yourself and feel this magnificent creature that God has created in His image. I want you to feel the power that you were given, and it is time for you to use it. I want you to feel your spirit and your soul and your higher consciousness. And I want you to indulge yourself in this magnificent pool of energy within you. I want you to take yourself any place you feel comfortable, any place you feel safe, any place you feel joyful. You could pick up the shore, you could pick up a beautiful garden, top of a mountain, any place you feel at ease, any place you feel comfortable, any place you feel safe and secure. And I want you to take a deep breath. As you're getting comfortable, I'm going to ask you to look at your surrounding with your mind. You recognize where you are. If you are in your living room, you know your living room. If you are in your bedroom, you know your bedroom. If you are wherever you are, you recognize the surrounding. I want you to visualize yourself coming out of your body, standing and walking. I want you to recognize yourself as you're getting out of the space that you're in, getting out to the open. I want you to recognize yourself looking up at heaven. I want you to see yourself levitating. You are gaining speed as you advance upward. I want you to take a look behind you, look below. You will see your house, where you live, down below. You can see the area where you live down below. You are getting higher. You can see the entire neighborhood getting smaller down below. You are getting higher, and you can see your whole state. You can see the whole country. You are advancing so fast. Now you can see Earth. You can see the curvature of the Earth. You can see the beautiful color blue. And you are advancing. You are gaining speed. And as you look behind, Earth is getting smaller. And you advance. You advance. You can see all these magnificent stars passing you so fast as you advance forward. You are enjoying it. It's so magnificent, so beautiful. And as you look behind, you can see Earth's moon, but you can see this magnificent, infinite, miraculous space, a mosaic of galaxies. Look like trillion, billions, billion diamonds sprinkled over this deep blue velvet. And as you look forward, you can see this magnificent light, magnificent, pure, white light. The type of light that does not hurt your eyes. A cool light. It's calling you. It's embracing you. You are getting closer. You cross into the light. You float into the light. It seeps you through your entire body. You are glowing with this magnificent light. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to feel it. I want you to know that you are connected to this light. You are related to this light. You are in the presence of the Almighty. Enjoy it. Feel it. For a moment or two. Always remember that you can always come back here. Anytime you want. At will. At your choice. Now, as we came, we're going to leave together. as we go through the light boundaries, cruising into space, going towards Earth, seeing these magnificent galaxies pass us very quickly as we go through. Now we can see Earth, beautiful blue planet. You can see the continents, you can see the ocean. We're going towards where we are, our continent, our country, our state, our city, our village, going down through the streets. We're almost home. We go through the door. We go through the location where we sit. We get inside our bodies. We relax. And we enjoy it. And we take a deep breath.
Thank you, Magdy.
Thank you. How do you like it?
Good. Good. I'm
buzzing.
Yes, buzzing. Yes.
Buzzing is the expression.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. We'll have to do it again.
I'd love to.
And is there any? Make sure that people get your book. And are you planning on doing some tours in the future?
I will definitely love to do tours. As a matter of fact, I would love to do something in Banff, which is
close to me. Yeah,
absolutely. And also, one of the locations where really I was struck by the level of energy there, Banff, and I was not on Lake Louise and Jasper, but I hear that these places are simply portals. They are portals.
Yeah, Lake Louise, and definitely you feel something in Jasper as well.
Maybe we can do something together.
Maybe.
Absolutely. I would love, for both of us to join forces and do a magnificent, I wouldn't say meditation, but I'll say a magnificent mind travel and mind communication in one of this magnificent
presentation. Yes.
And I believe that the more awareness we raise in people about the magnificent abilities we all have,
yes,
the faster we will actually get to our evolution, the faster we will get to our real achievement, which is mind over everything. And that's what's going to happen. And I look forward very much to the future and to our next encounter.
Yes, me too.
Great.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we'll talk again soon.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye for now.
Bye. So long. I'll see you soon.
Blessings.
Yep. Bye-bye.